Now, I want to take you back to the Amnesty International report that found that Australian officials paid people smugglers to return a boat of asylum seekers to Indonesia. You dismiss that as an ideological attack. Now, doesn't that imply that Amnesty International was prepared to put out a dodgy report simply to hurt the government?
No, Barry, the point that I was making is that Amnesty, like many other NGOs, have had a long-term opposition to the regional processing centres to turning back boats where it's safe to do so. But in the end, we've not had a drowning at sea under this government.
Sorry, just on that,
Sure.
does imply they put out a dishonest report if
well,
it was
Barry,
driven by ideology.
The point that I make is that organisations such as Amnesty have had a very long-standing position. That's their right in a democracy. I disagree with it vehemently because we've been able to stop deaths at sea and we've been able to reduce the number of children from 2,000 down to less than 100 in detention.
I'm sure I accept that they might have an ideological opposition, but are you implying that they put out a dishonest report?
Barry, I've said publicly before, and I'll repeat it again now, that we reject the suggestions that have been made in the report, and my officers within Australian Border Force have acted within the law, and that's the basis on which we operate. So suggestions to the contrary are completely false. And
so where are they wrong? What part of it did they get wrong?
Well, for anybody to suggest that the officers of the Australian Border Force or people involved in Operation Sovereign Borders have acted outside of the law is completely false.
That they paid people smugglers?
It's without foundation, and if people have evidence to the contrary, they should provide that evidence.
But you're saying point blank they did not pay people smugglers?
I'm saying that no such evidence was provided in the report of any illegal action, and if people have any evidence...
there was evidence that they paid people smugglers. Now, you're saying that's not true?
Barry, the evidence that people have spoken about that was contained, so-called evidence that was contained in the report, as I said before, and as I say again this morning, the government completely rejects the suggestion that any of our officers have acted outside of the law.
But you're not rejecting the suggestion that they paid people smugglers.
But Barry, the point, and this is an issue that took place, this discussion many months ago, so I'm happy to revisit it again this morning, but we've repeated this claim that in relation to the actions of the officers of Operation Sovereign Borders, nobody has acted outside of the law. We have done what it takes to stop the boats, and we're not going to take a backward step from that. We're not going to allow the drownings at sea.
You're not denying that Australian officials paid people smugglers. You're just simply arguing that's not against the law. Amnesty International says that they committed a transnational crime by paying people smugglers.
Well, Barry, I'll use my own words instead of having them framed. I'm putting to you that the government operates within the law. We've done that consistently in relation to Operation Sovereign Borders. We have a difficult situation in relation to cleaning up Labor's mess where we lost control of our borders as a country. We've not had any drownings at sea, and we've been able, as a dividend from the success of Operation Sovereign Borders, to take people in record numbers through the refugee and humanitarian program.
But can you understand then why people interpret from that as far as the government's concerned, in the absence of a denial, you can pay people smugglers, and that's within the law?
Well, Barry, people can draw their own conclusions. The point that we've made consistently is that we don't comment on operational matters. Suffice to say that our officers operate within the law to stop the boats. Stop them we have, and we're not going to allow people smugglers to get back into business.